Hello everyone. Over millions of years of evolution, these incredible sea creatures have developed unique adaptation mechanisms that allowed them to surpass even older species in survival skills. According to scientists, sharks first appeared on Earth about 450 million years ago, long before dinosaurs, and to this day, they remain one of the most perfectly designed predators in the ocean world. Sharks belong to the superorder of cartilaginous fish and the subclass of elasmobranchs. What sets them apart is their unmistakable appearance: a torpedo-shaped body, an asymmetrical tail fin, and a head with a mouth lined with several rows of razor-sharp teeth. Interestingly, the Russian word for shark came from the Old Icelandic hakal, which originally meant simply any fish. The word started to be used in the 18th century in the same broad sense, before it was tied specifically to these predators. Appearance. Most shark species share a torpedo-like body and an oval conical head. This streamlined form allows them to glide through the water with both speed and grace. Sharks move by creating wave-like motions with their bodies, powered by their fins, especially the strong tail fin, which also works like a rudder. The tail has two lobes, the upper one, reinforced by the backbone, and a smaller lower lobe. With the help of their side fins, sharks can maneuver both horizontally and vertically, while paired fins keep them balanced. Thanks to this system, sharks can perform remarkably agile movements, though there's one thing they can't do: swim backward. But the truth is, they don't need to. Light bulb fun fact: some shark species actually walk along the ocean floor using their pectoral and pelvic fins, almost like legs. And tiny lantern sharks, just a meter long, move their fins in a fluttering motion, almost like a hummingbird underwater. Skeleton and skin. Unlike most fish, sharks have a cartilaginous skeleton, reinforced with calcium in stress-bearing areas. This gives them both strength and flexibility. Their skin is another marvel. It's covered with tiny tooth-like scales called dermal denticles, which are as strong as actual teeth. If you run your hand from head to tail, a shark's skin feels smooth. But from tail to head, it feels like sandpaper. To make swimming even more efficient, sharks produce a special slime that drastically reduces drag. This is why they can slice through the water with such incredible speed. Their skin also contains pigment cells that determine coloration. Typically, a shark's back is dark while its belly is light. This natural camouflage makes them nearly invisible, blending with the dark ocean when seen from above, and with sunlight when viewed from below. Fish or mammal? At first glance, the frilled shark doesn't even look like a shark at all, more like an eel, or even a sea serpent. Carpet sharks and rays live right on the ocean floor, with flat bodies and sandy-colored camouflage that lets them blend in perfectly with the seabed. Some wobbegong sharks even have strange skin flaps dangling from their snouts. And of course, there's the hammerhead shark, unmistakable with its iconic T-shaped head. Behavior and way of life. Many people believe sharks are solitary and never form groups. But that's a myth. In reality, they can often be seen swimming in large schools, especially during mating season or in areas packed with food. Some species prefer to stay in one place, while others migrate across thousands of kilometers. According to scientists, shark migration routes can be even more complex than those of birds. Sharks also have their own social hierarchy, especially when it comes to feeding. For example, the silky shark always gives way to the oceanic whitetip. And here's something fascinating: sharks have two different modes of sleep. They can keep swimming while their spinal cord takes over control of movement, or they can rest one half of their brain at a time, just like dolphins. Because they're constantly on the move chasing prey, sharks burn a massive amount of energy, which keeps them feeling hungry almost all the time. Their appetite is legendary. Scientists have even recorded sounds made by sharks underwater. But in the end, they discovered that sharks don't really talk with sounds. Instead, they communicate through body language, movements of their fins, the tilt of their head, or the way their entire body shifts in the water. Movement and breathing. Because of how their bodies are built, sharks are destined for non-stop motion. Like all animals, they need oxygen, but they lack gill covers, which most fish use to pump water over their gills. That means a shark has to swim with its mouth slightly open, letting water flow in and out, so oxygen can reach all its organs. Some sharks, however, have clever tricks. They can slow down when swimming against the current, or use special spiracles to draw water into their gills while at rest. Bottom-dwelling species are even believed to breathe partly through their skin. Research has also revealed that shark muscles contain unusually high levels of myoglobin, a protein that stores oxygen. This is what allows them to endure constant movement and sudden bursts of speed. And when it comes to steering with precision in the water, making quick turns or complex maneuvers, their cerebellum and forebrain take charge, surprisingly advanced parts of their brain that make sharks such incredible swimmers. The heart and the liver. A shark's body temperature always matches the water around it, which is why sharks are considered cold-blooded. But there are a few exceptions. Some species are partially warm-blooded, able to raise their body temperature thanks to the constant work of their powerful muscles, which generate heat and warm their blood. Naturally, circulation depends on the heart. A shark's heart is located in the chest, close to the head, and consists of just two chambers, a ventricle and an atrium. Blood is pumped through the gill arteries and into the vessels inside the gills. Once oxygen is absorbed, the blood is sent throughout the body. But here's something important: a shark's heart isn't strong enough to keep blood pressure steady on its own. That's why sharks rely on the regular contractions of their swimming muscles to help push oxygen through their massive bodies. Another fascinating detail: a shark's liver is huge, making up about 1/5 of its entire body weight. This organ does a lot of heavy lifting. It filters toxins, stores nutrients, and even replaces the swim bladder that most fish have. Thanks to their liver, sharks stay buoyant without struggling with pressure changes when they move up and down in the water column. The senses. People often assume sharks have poor vision, and to some degree, that's true. They mostly see outlines rather than fine detail, and they don't really perceive colors. Sometimes a shark might completely ignore a motionless fish, but the second it makes a move, the shark reacts instantly. Their eyes, however, are far from unprotected. Many species have folds of skin or even protective membranes to shield their vision. Hearing, though, is another story. The unique structure of a shark's inner and middle ear allows it to detect low-frequency sounds far below the range of human hearing. This lets sharks pick up subtle vibrations and even the movements of water layers. Then there are the famous ampullae of Lorenzini, tiny electroreceptors on the shark's head and body. These sensors can detect the faintest electrical impulses given off by potential prey, making them extremely effective hunters. And of course, the sense of smell is where sharks truly shine. Their ability to detect scents is thousands of times sharper than ours. This comes down to the way their olfactory system is built. The front parts of their brain are highly developed, and their nasal canals are shaped to funnel more water across the receptors. As a shark swims, it swings its snout from side to side, constantly sampling the water to pinpoint the source of a scent. Even if you were to blindfold a shark, it could still hunt with no problem at all. To give you an idea of just how sensitive their nose is, a shark can detect a single drop of blood in a volume of water the size of a swimming pool. Some species are even capable of picking up airborne scents drifting just above the water's surface. How long do sharks live? On average, sharks don't live as long as you might think, usually around 30 years. But among them, there are some true record holders that can live 100 years or more. These include the spiny dogfish, the whale shark, and the legendary Greenland shark. The Greenland shark, in fact, holds the crown not only among sharks but among all vertebrates. When scientists examined a 5-meter-long individual, paleogenetic analysis revealed something extraordinary: it was about 392 years old. That means some Greenland sharks were alive long before the United States even existed. Based on these findings, scientists estimate the average lifespan of this species to be no less than 272 years. Mind-blowing, right? An interesting fact. A shark's lifespan is closely tied to its teeth. Over the course of its life, a single shark can go through as many as 50,000 teeth. If a shark ever lost the ability to grow new ones, it would face certain starvation. Their teeth operate like a conveyor belt. When one tooth falls out, another immediately grows in its place. Each species has its own unique tooth design, perfectly matched to its diet. Sharks that filter plankton have tiny, almost useless teeth. Carnivorous sharks, on the other hand, boast massive, razor-sharp weapons built for tearing flesh. Bottom dwellers are equipped with flat, ridged teeth ideal for crushing shells. The tiger shark. Its wide, serrated teeth are designed for ripping apart large marine animals. Shark diversity. Here's another fascinating mystery: scientists still don't know exactly how many shark species exist in our oceans. Some claim there are around 450 species, while others believe the number may be closer to 530. But one thing scientists agree on: all sharks are grouped into 8 major orders, each with its own unique traits. For example, Carcharhiniformes, the largest order, with species so diverse that some even practice oophagy, eating eggs inside the womb. Heterodontiformes, bottom-dwelling sharks with stocky bodies, 2 spiny dorsal fins, and 1 anal fin. Mostly nocturnal hunters. Hexanchiformes, an ancient group that includes species with elongated, eel-like bodies, such as the frilled shark. Lamniformes, powerful, torpedo-shaped pelagic sharks, including some of the largest and fastest hunters. Oryctolobiformes, warm-water sharks, often near the sea floor, except for the whale shark, the gentle giant that cruises in open waters. Pristiophoriformes, the saw sharks, instantly recognizable by their long, saw-like snout lined with sharp teeth. Squaliforms, found worldwide, often at great depths, even in the frigid waters near the poles. Squatiniforms, the angel sharks, with their flattened bodies resembling rays, but with gills on the sides instead of underneath. So while scientists are still debating the exact number of species, one thing's certain: sharks are among the most diverse, fascinating, and resilient creatures on our planet. Did you know? The smallest shark in the world is a tiny squaliform species, measuring just 20 centimeters long, about the size of your hand. On the other end of the spectrum, the whale shark can reach a mind-blowing 20 meters in length. That's the size of a city bus cruising through the ocean. Natural habitat. Sharks are predators found in seas and oceans all around the globe. Some species, like the bull shark and the common gray shark, even swim into the mouths of freshwater rivers. Most sharks prefer the warm waters of equatorial and tropical zones, but they also patrol coastal regions rich in food. They're known to dive as deep as 2 kilometers, though on rare occasions, some venture even deeper into the dark abyss. Diet and feeding. Sharks enjoy one of the broadest menus in the animal kingdom. Their stomachs are incredibly adaptable, they can stretch to store extra food, and their gastric juices are so powerful, packed with hydrochloric acid, that they can dissolve metal. This is why sharks are infamous for swallowing almost anything that crosses their path. Here's a wild fact: the tiger shark has the bizarre ability to turn its stomach inside out through its mouth, rinse it clean, and pull it back in again. This built-in reset button helps prevent them from overeating or getting sick from indigestible junk. Sharks' diets are as varied as the ocean itself. Marine mammals like sea lions, seals, and dolphins. A wide range of fish, from tiny schooling species to large pelagic hunters. Crustaceans, including crabs and lobsters. Plankton, in the case of gentle giants like the whale shark, basking shark, and megamouth shark. The great white shark prefers hunting pelagic fish, but it often targets young seals and sea lions. Mako, porbeagle, and blue sharks also specialize in pelagic fish. Meanwhile, Bottom-dwelling sharks crunch through crabs and other hard-shelled crustaceans. The hunt. One of the shark's greatest talents is finding prey. Even in murky water or buried in sand, a shark can detect the faint signals of a beating heart. Once it strikes, those razor-sharp teeth and highly flexible jaws make quick work of the victim. The lower jaw acts like a stabilizer, while the upper jaw chops and tears like an axe. Sometimes, sharks even use a special buccal pump technique. They suck onto their prey with their mouths, creating a vacuum, and then rip away chunks of flesh, whether they need them or not. How long do sharks live? On average, sharks don't live as long as you might think, usually around 30 years. But among them, there are some true record holders that can live 100 years or more. These include the spiny dogfish, the whale shark, and the legendary Greenland shark. The Greenland shark, in fact, holds the crown not only among sharks but among all vertebrates. When scientists examined a 5-meter-long individual, paleogenetic analysis revealed something extraordinary. It was about 392 years old. That means some Greenland sharks were alive long before the United States even existed. Based on these findings, scientists estimate the average lifespan of this species to be no less than 272 years. Mind-blowing, right? An interesting fact. A shark's lifespan is closely tied to its teeth. Over the course of its life, a single shark can go through as many as 50,000 teeth. If a shark ever lost the ability to grow new ones, it would face certain starvation. Their teeth operate like a conveyor belt. When one tooth falls out, another immediately grows in its place. Each species has its own unique tooth design, perfectly matched to its diet. Sharks that filter plankton have tiny, almost useless teeth. Carnivorous sharks, on the other hand, boast massive, razor-sharp weapons built for tearing flesh. Bottom dwellers are equipped with flat, ridged teeth ideal for crushing shells. The tiger shark. Its wide, serrated teeth are designed for ripping apart large marine animals. Shark diversity. Here's another fascinating mystery. Scientists still don't know exactly how many shark species exist in our oceans. Some claim there are around 450 species, while others believe the number may be closer to 530. But one thing scientists agree on: all sharks are grouped into 8 major orders, each with its own unique traits. For example, Carcharhiniformes, the largest order, with species so diverse that some even practice oophagy, eating eggs inside the womb. Heterodontiformes, bottom-dwelling sharks with stocky bodies, 2 spiny dorsal fins, and 1 anal fin. Mostly nocturnal hunters. Hexanchiformes, an ancient group that includes species with elongated, eel-like bodies, such as the frilled shark. Lamniformes, powerful, torpedo-shaped pelagic sharks, including some of the largest and fastest hunters. Orectolobiformes, warm-water sharks, often near the sea floor, except for the whale shark, the gentle giant that cruises in open waters. Pristiophoriformes, the saw sharks, instantly recognizable by their long, saw-like snout lined with sharp teeth. Squaliformes, found worldwide, often at great depths, even in the frigid waters near the poles. Squatiniformes, the angel sharks, with their flattened bodies resembling rays, but with gills on the sides instead of underneath. So while scientists are still debating the exact number of species, one thing's certain: sharks are among the most diverse, fascinating, and resilient creatures on our planet. Shark attacks on humans. Experts agree, sharks actually pose very little danger to people. The problem has been blown way out of proportion by the media. Statistically, your chances of being attacked by a shark are close to zero. For example, in the US every year at least 3,000 people drown, while on average only 1 death is linked to a shark attack. And let's not forget, only a few shark species are capable of showing real aggression toward humans. Among them are the oceanic white-tip, the bull shark, the great white, and the tiger shark. Other species, like hammerheads, makos, Galapagos sharks, blue sharks, silky sharks, lemon sharks, and dusky sharks, may occasionally come close, but encounters with them rarely end in tragedy. So, the fear of sharks isn't just exaggerated, it's wildly exaggerated. In conclusion, even in the 21st century, many still believe that shark fins are some kind of universal cure, even for cancer. But science has never been able to prove this. The myth came from the old belief that sharks simply don't get cancer. Today we know that isn't true. Researchers have found sharks with malignant tumors, both in the wild and in captivity. Still, shark fins are valued much higher than shark meat. Dishes made from them can cost a fortune in restaurants. That's why the cruel practice of finning, slicing off the fins and throwing the rest of the shark back into the ocean, still exists. Fortunately, many countries have already banned this barbaric form of fishing. But the demand is still there, and sharks continue to pay the price for human superstition. Here's the video. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.